I never thought my heart could race with love and then, in the same night, hammer with rage. It began as a surprise. I'd returned from a business trip 2 days earlier than planned. My idea was simple. Sweep Claire off her feet, take her to the Ember Lounge, her favorite bar where we'd had our first date, and remind her why I had asked her to marry me. The ring on her finger wasn't just gold. It was my promise, my future. But that night, as I pushed open the lounge's heavy oak door, I realized promises mean nothing if they're worn only as decoration. The room was dim, amber lights glinting off polished bottles. Music pulsed faintly beneath the low hum of voices. I spotted her right away. Claire, but she wasn't alone. A man sat beside her, too close, his arm draped over a chair, their heads nearly touching as they laughed over cocktails. She twirled her hair, smiling in the way she once did when we were dizzy with new love. I froze behind a pillar, breath caught halfway in my chest. Maybe I was mistaken. Maybe he was just a friend. Maybe. Then she leaned in, brushed his hand with hers, and whispered something that made him grin like a wolf. That was enough. Betrayal and humiliation hit me like fire. Bitter, sharp, unforgettable. I walked over, each step slow, deliberate, as if I weren't in control of my own body. Claire, I said, my voice far steadier than I felt. Her eyes widened with panic. Then she forced a smile. James, you're home early. The man turned lazily toward me, sizing me up like I was an inconvenience. Who's this? He asked. This, I replied, holding up my bare hand where a ring should have been, is her fiancé. The color drained from her face. James, it's not what it looks like. I let out a hollow laugh, one that didn't sound like me at all. It never is it? The man shifted uneasily. Look, I didn't know she was. Don't. I cut in, my eyes locked on hers. This isn't about you. My hand slipped into my pocket. I felt the cool metal of the ring I'd once placed on her finger, with trembling hands and tear-filled eyes. Pulling it out, I held it to the dim light, before laying it on the table between them. Give that back to whoever you really love, I said quietly. Then I turned and walked out. The night air bit my skin, but it felt cleaner than the stifling air inside. My phone buzzed over and over, Claire calling, texting, begging. James, wait. Please let me explain. It's not what you think. Come home, please. But I didn't go home. Not that night. I drove aimlessly until I ended up parked by the old pier, staring at the black water lapping against the posts. My hands gripped the wheel until my knuckles ached. Memories rushed in. Our first date, her laugh in that same bar, the night we dreamed about our future under the stars, the way she whispered, I can't wait to spend my life with you when I proposed. Was it all a lie, or had I just not been enough? The next day I went home. She was waiting on the couch, hair messy, eyes swollen from crying. James, she said, rushing to me. I made a mistake. It wasn't serious. It just happened. We were drinking. He's a co-worker. I raised a hand to stop her. Tears welled in her eyes. Please, just listen. It meant nothing. You've been so busy, so distant. I just wanted to feel wanted. Her words landed like a blow. So now this was my fault? I've been working for us, I said, my voice breaking. For our future. And you repay me by, what? Practicing infidelity over cocktails. It wasn't like that, she whispered. It was exactly like that. Days bled into a week. She tried everything. Flowers, late-night texts, promises of therapy, tearful confessions that she loved only me. But love without respect is poison. Out of anger and maybe self-preservation, I started digging. What I found crushed me even more than the bar scene. She'd been texting him for months. Inside jokes. Drinks after work. A hotel receipt from 2 weeks earlier, while I was in Chicago. Each discovery snapped another thread, unraveling the life I thought we shared. The confrontation that followed wasn't loud. It was cold. Claire, I said one evening in the kitchen where we once planned our wedding menu, I know everything, not just the bar. Her face collapsed. James, please. No, don't. You had choices. Not once, not twice, but many times. And every single time, you didn't choose me. She broke down, sobbing into her hands. I was scared. I thought maybe we were too perfect, that I'd lose myself. I just wanted to feel alive. I stared at her. You wanted to feel alive. And you killed everything. 2 days later, I moved out. The ring, cold and silent, was already at the jeweler's for resale. Friends called me cold. Some urged forgiveness, saying people make mistakes. Others said I should have exposed her, humiliated her like she did me. But I didn't want revenge. What I wanted was my dignity. Weeks went by. I threw myself into work, tried to rebuild a version of myself that wasn't tethered to her approval. Nights were the hardest, when the silence stretched too long, when I caught myself reaching for a phone that no longer buzzed with her goodnight messages. One evening, I walked back into the Ember Lounge. Alone this time, but stronger. The bartender gave me a cautious nod. And there she was, Claire, sitting at the bar alone, staring at the door like she'd been hoping I'd walk in. No lover by her side, no smile on her face. She stood when she saw me. "James, I didn't think you'd come." "I didn't come for you," I said softly. "I came to make peace with myself." We talked. Not as lovers, not as enemies, but as two people who had broken something fragile and couldn't repair it. "I'm sorry," she whispered, tears shimmering. "I thought he made me feel special, but all he did was make me lose the one person who truly loved me." I didn't answer right away. My heart still ached, but the wound wasn't bleeding anymore. It was just a scar forming. "I loved you," I said finally, "but I can't love who you chose to be." That night, I left the bar calm. I wasn't taking her back. I wasn't seeking revenge. I was moving forward. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do after betrayal isn't screaming or begging. It's walking away with your self-respect intact. Months later, I heard from mutual friends that the man had ghosted her. She was alone, patching the wreckage of her choices. As for me, I traveled, rediscovered the parts of myself I'd neglected, laughed without guilt, and learned that healing isn't erasing the past. It's refusing to let it poison the future. And the ring? I never bought another like it. Next time I propose, it won't just be with gold and diamonds. It will be with eyes wide open, because love is a choice, and so is betrayal.